Hi, Misha here, and Happy New Year. As promised, this is kind of part two, talking about New Year's. In part one, kind of had a retrospective about 2021. I tried to make it not too depressing and down, but gotta be honest, it was a pretty rough year for all of us, wasn't it? But this is a new year. I know it's really just the calendar rolling over, and December 31st and January 1st. It's just a different rotation of the planet around the sun. Sorry, flat earthers, the globe is round. As if the sun and moon. Fancy that. Anyway. But, yeah. It's a new year. And it actually cooled off. A little cold front came through this weekend. Got down to about 15 degrees last night. About 12 degrees tonight. And now it's early morning of the 3rd. I, thought about posting this on January 1st or 2nd, but truth is, I just needed a weekend to chill. I took some notes for new videos, but didn't really get any recording done. Just needed some time off, even if it's just for a couple of days. But no worries, I have plenty of videos already recorded of different types. We'll continue the British tanks, and going to be looking at Japanese tanks. That's quite interesting. Not something you often think about in World War II, and there's actually some really good reasons for that. But still interesting to look at and talk about nonetheless. Sometimes I wonder why they even tried. I mean, it's like, they would make 100 of this tank, and their most mass-produced tank they made just over 2,000 of, and in total they made 6,000 tanks. Some sources say 10,000 tanks and armor all told. Compare that to the USA and Russia, and even Great Britain, and yeah, it's an interesting story, if nothing else. Yeah, so that'll be fun to do. I'm kind of excited to get into that. Anytime I can talk about Japanese hardware, it's just such a different design philosophy, be they Nambu pistols or Arasaka rifles, or the Yamato battleship, or the aircraft carriers, or what have you, or even modern day, like their F1 and F2 aircraft. It's very different. Of course, the same thing could be said for Russian stuff, and that's kind of why I like covering that as well. So looking forward to some new tank models, and hopefully some new aircraft models soon. And got some new Star Trek and new Battlestar Galactica ones to show you as we wrap up the Battlestar Galactica series from Eagle Moss. And of course, now they're starting the Stargate one, so that might be interesting, although I don't think they've actually shipped any of those yet. But, yeah. That's what's going on in the model front. One good thing about it being below 15 degrees out here, at least the GoPro doesn't get hot. Yeah, the GoPro's never overheated, but it definitely gets warm, especially in the summer. It kind of gets hot pretty quick within sets at a certain point. Yeah, I might look at new hardware this year. That might be fun. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic with the new year. I think it's a healthy attitude. Like I said, I indulged in some retrospection, looking back, examining my past, my behaviors, others around me. But in my mind, this new year is a good opportunity to say, time to move forward. I might even get back to drinking a bit. Truth to be told, I didn't drink for pretty much all of 2021. First bit a little bit, and then I pretty much cut it out come summer. It wasn't actually an intentional thing. It just kind of happened. You know how that goes? A good friend is coming up on 2 years sober, and so that helps me. I just don't want to. And then a couple of my other good friends are Mormon, so yeah. Actually, about half my family are Mormon. But between that and just working, trying to do videos and everything, it's just, and I kind of realized that emotionally probably wasn't the best time to be drinking when, you don't know where your emotions are going to go. But I was given, 2 gallons of vodka in total for Christmas. So I think that's my family's way of telling me I need to start drinking again. What do you think? Also, where I live here, there's a couple of really good wineries. And they don't just do grape wine, they do all kinds of other fruit wine that's actually quite tasty. And not near as sweet as you might think. Tried a little bit of new food over the holiday, including going to an old classic restaurant I went to as a kid back home when I was visiting, and it was actually really good. It's kind of under new management a little bit, and they've kind of ramped the quality back up to where it used to be. So that was excellent. Also tried what they called some pork fries. Yeah, they're French fries made out of pork at a truck stop on the road recently, because, well, truck stop, gotta eat sometime, right? And, at 1 a.m. on Christmas morning, what are you gonna eat? Truck stop. So that was interesting. It was a quiet New Year's for me. The wife and I just stayed home, didn't really do much, and I'm okay with that. Between the late 90s and, early mid-2000s, I lived it up pretty good on New Year's. Maybe a little too much. So, I've got a lot of good New Year's memories. And kind of glad for those, but also kind of been like, been there, done that. I've told stories about New Year's of 99 to 2000, the turn of the millennium. That was a hell of a party. The only bad thing is we got a little too far gone and let midnight slip away. So at 12:30 we turned off all the power to kind of spoof everyone that the Y2K had happened, and everyone else was so too far gone they didn't realize it wasn't 12:01. So that worked out just fine. And spent a couple of New Year's in Russia. That was interesting, celebrating over there. Spent another one traveling back when I was in college over on the West Coast. And spent one on the East Coast as well. So, yeah, in the past I've kind of been here and there. I remember I was talking with my younger cousin. He's like 3 years younger than me, not a major difference, but in your school that seems like a lot more. Talked to him one New Year's, and we were kind of all around drinking and eating, and hollered at him, or maybe he called me, I can't remember, and, hey, what are you doing, man? Oh, I'm on a mountain in North Carolina. Cool, what are you doing? Oh, just out here camping. Who with? Alone. So you're spending New Year's Eve totally alone on a mountain half a continent away. Yep. Back then I couldn't quite grasp it, but as I get older, that sounds pretty fucking awesome. Peace and solitude, and he loved it. He went on to work for the Forest Service. This has kind of always been his bag. He loves nature. In fact, 2 or 3 members of my family work for wildlife, fish and game, or the Forest Service, and kind of where we are. We're kind of an outdoorsy family. So, yeah, good times. I guess, as I said in the last Blackbox for New Year's Eve, that I didn't think 2021 was quite done with us. It had to kill Betty White, apparently. So that was its last gasp. That said, I figure she would have said that she wanted to die while she was still young, that 100 was too old. So, die as a young woman still. It's just one of those things. Yeah. But, yeah, I was promised a quick little black box here, and about to start the work week. Had a few guns sell over the weekend and several items. A lot of magazines sold. And was going out there and pulling them and getting them boxed up so they could go to the mailman today. And thought I'd take a few minutes here, take a little break, and see how long I could stand out here in this cold. And think I'm about reaching that point. But trying to be optimistic as we come into this New Year's, and hope everyone else had a good, restful weekend. And look, 2020 and 2021, they were bitches. They were bad, I think, for everyone. But, again, even though it's just a changing of the calendar, it's a good mental way to break things up and to kind of start with a new attitude. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And it's not anything like a New Year's resolution, nothing like that. Just, life goes on, and I want to continue in it. So I'm hoping to get some traveling done. hoping to get some new guns, hoping to make a new gun range out of the cabin. And we probably won't get everything I want done this year, but if I get half of it done, I would be mighty pleased with that. Also, not to lose anyone in 2022, just to have a nice calm year where we can all kind of get back to it. That would be fan-fucking-tastic. And I wish you all the best as well. I appreciate all your support here and over on Mishaco, and if you're a Patreon supporter, on there too. So with that, this is Misha, wishing you Happy New Year and a good beginning to the first work week of the 2022 year. And I'll keep on making videos, and all I ask is you please keep watching them, and if you can, like, share, and subscribe. And again, if you really like to help support, go over and check out Patreon. With that, I will catch you very soon after my hands thaw out and my nose and my ears next time.